Wow. Okay. My name is Steve Sadler. I am the CEO of Allegiancy. If you were here earlier, you know that we are in the market today with a $30 million Regulation A+ IPO. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what we're experiencing. Sydney just cut my time down, so I don't know if we're going to get it all in. 15 is on the schedule, Sydney. You're killing me. And so what I want to do is just introduce you to our offering and then talk to you a little bit about how the world works in this business. So Allegiancy is a commercial real estate technology company that manages real estate assets owned by others. And we think that we've built a platform that will literally transform the way commercial real estate operates. So part of our whole marketing thing, because that's really the theme of my conversation with you today, is that marketing matters a great deal, particularly in a crowdfunding kind of an environment. And so our whole thing is that we're a disruptive company about to blow the $15 trillion real estate market away, and that we're changing the way things are done. And we've got a group of people that have decades of experience and have done this in other areas. And that's the message we're trying to share with our audience, is that this is not a startup, not a fly-by-night, not a new idea. This is a 10-year-old company that is poised to be an overnight success. We have an established revenue stream. We have low volatility in terms of our earnings. In fact, we have counter-cyclical component to our earnings, so that as the real estate markets actually suffered in 08, 9, 10, our revenues on the management side went up, and so that sort of stability should be attractive to an investor. High growth, we've grown by 400% in the last 2 years, very solid margins in our operating business. But all of that sounds an awful lot like a boring company that doesn't make fancy cars or cute gadgets that you can put in your pocket. And so for us, that was part of the reason that we decided to use both a crowdfunding approach as well as to leverage the independent broker-dealer channel to sell through investment advisors, RIAs, registered reps at the same time. So we're running a dual approach. And from our perspective, we launched, I think we got the SEC gave us the green light on maybe, what's today? And I can't remember now. Maybe it was April 15th or April 14th or something like that. And so we began our process of going out and doing some marketing. We chose not to do test the waters. We chose to wait until our offering was effective and go out and do that marketing, advertising, promotion after we could actually take subscriptions. And the marketing part is actually pretty critical, because our experience has been people are lazy. So your story has to be compelling. It's got to be something that's accessible to them and that is grounded in their own experience. You've got to find a way to tell that story effectively. We started with one marketing firm back in December, did some testing December and January on Facebook ads and AdWords, Google AdWords and stuff like that. Didn't work very well. So we switched marketing firms, took another shot at it in March and April, didn't get much traction. And part of what we were learning in this process is that most of the advertising agencies are brand guys. They're not direct response action guys. And I use guys in the generic gender neutral sense of that word. And so while we had very attractive ads that were pretty, and the copy was good, and people would click on them, they didn't do much else. So we weren't translating that into real action. So I would caution you, if you're in this business, you're looking to do a Regulation A offering, you need to be really thoughtful about who your marketing partners are and build in some time to figure out what actually works. And that's what we've been doing. And we're now on our third and currently very successful approach, or I guess third vendor in the advertising and promotion space that's working very well. And these guys do understand digital marketing. They do understand data mining. They do understand producing results and why that matters more even than whether the ad is pretty or not. And so part of our challenge in a boring business like commercial real estate management, where technology is something that nobody actually sees and they don't get to touch it, it's not like an iPhone, is to tell that story in a way that people can understand, a way that it will resonate with them, and to do it in the media that we have available, the Facebook ads, the Google AdWords, direct marketing, email, and direct mail, actual print, paper mail. Crazy old-fashioned way to do it. But part of the other dynamic that a lot of people may be missing here is, although we're very interested in the millennials as an investment audience, they don't have a lot of money and they're not really particularly engaged at this point. And so we're also marketing to old guys that are bald and middle-aged and have a paunch because they have money, and direct mail still works with those guys. So, but Allegiancy, we are a market-leading specialized asset manager of real estate. We do strategic analysis, we do tactical execution, operational efficiency, real-world stuff that has a direct impact on the bottom line for commercial real estate investment owners. And that is a business that's pretty narrow in terms of who understands what it is. And it gives us some real challenges in making that, or in making that message heard, communicating that. And because we don't own the buildings, our job is to make them perform, but people always think, oh, well, you're a REIT, or, okay, you guys are property managers, and we're really not either of those things. So differentiation and message definition and clarity is something that we've worked very hard at. And so what we like to tell people is that you need a good driver. If you're running a Formula F1 car, about a $9.5 million investment, if you don't have a good driver, you could end up hitting a wall. If you're flying a $300 million jet fighter plane and the pilot doesn't know what he's doing, you could end up hitting a wall. And so what we do at Allegiancy is we provide the leadership to drive your investments to perform better. And everything out there, every business out there requires leadership. The great businesses have great leaders. The mediocre businesses have mediocre leaders. And at Allegiancy, that's what we do. Leadership is what we do. And this is just to give you a feel for, if I can make this work, for what the advertising and marketing stuff looks like. Almost made it work. So close.
How do you get the best performance? Well, at first, it's simple and easy to manage. However, you will soon realize that the situation can quickly become quite chaotic. But leadership changes things. It's true for music, and it's true for business. For owners of commercial real estate, Allegiancy is here to conduct business on your behalf. To bring clarity from chaos. Trust Allegiancy to bring superior outcomes and to bring the best possible performance.
So it's stuff like that that we're producing, putting out there to try to help people understand what we're doing. And I think what you'll see with the people that are successful in marketing crowdfunded Regulation A+ or other crowdfunded offerings, these materials matter a lot, and you should spend a lot of time and effort up front thinking about what you're going to be presenting, and budget so that you can do it in a quality sort of way, because that ultimately is going to speak for you. That's certainly been true for us. And the reality is that you are, at this point, and probably for the next 3 or 4 years, we're all trailblazers. And it's hard work because nobody really knows where the path is. And you're sort of got to put your head down and bull through the briars and the thorns. And we're all learning on the fly. We go to the best lawyers, and they're still figuring it out. You get on a conference call with the SEC, and you ask them a question, and they'll tell you quite freely, we don't know. We're just going to have to figure this out. And that's all okay, but that uncertainty is a little unsettling, particularly if you're like me. We have a $30 million raise upon which we've built the future of our company. We're expecting to be able to raise this capital and have acquisitions and growth planned in order to use that capital. So the idea that it's squishy is not particularly comfortable. And there will be a path, and we are blazing a path. And Elio has done great work for us. They've made our job easier, and we're going to make the job easier for whoever comes along behind us. And that, cumulative effort will actually do all of us a lot of good. But it feels a lot like this to me.
Some people like to climb mountains. I like to build planes in the air.
Do you guys remember this EDS ad?
I grew up wanting to be on a plane, wanting to be up this high. Sometimes the temperature up at altitude will reach 60 below. It's brisk, it's refreshing. You never know what you're going to come across up there. Canadian geese, mallards, owls. These people back here, that's why I come to work. That's why I build airplanes in the sky.
We're not just building a plane here. We're building a dream.
I love this job.
I got a lot of things up here. When I look over there and I see that little kid, and I look in his eyes, that's all the things I need.
That's kind of what it feels like right about now. I mean, we're not building planes in the sky, but it's a lot like that. And so from our perspective at Allegiancy, we've been in the thick of it for the last 30 days or so, actively out talking to people trying to raise capital. We've gotten a lot more no thanks, we're interested, but we're going to wait and see, than we have people saying, okay, yeah, we're in. And through the good offices of W.R. Hambrecht, we have assembled a group so far of about 15 broker-dealers. There are some pretty sizable, reputable firms that are excited about this space and are willing to take the risk to be early in the game. And so that's very encouraging. I think the Elio experience, where there's 4 or 5 market makers making a market in their stock for the OTC secondary market, that is a very big deal. If you haven't been in the securities business, it might not sound like a big deal to you, but the fact that there are different people engaging in that process, even on an offering that is basically very small, is pretty exciting, and I think bodes well for the future of the Regulation A+ marketplace. And so our experience has been that we're learning a lot. We're learning it on the fly. It's a little bit scary, very exciting, and we are incredibly optimistic about the future of this marketplace. You see very competent professionals assembled here talking about this. There are a lot of good people trying to make this work. There are a lot of people doing a lot of real hard work, essentially pro bono. I mean, a lot of the people in this room have been committing enormous amounts of time to this effort that they're not compensated for. And so there's a real passion, and that too, I think, is really exciting. So we're thrilled to be a part of it. That's really the end of my formal presentation. Although, actually, let me take you to one more little video clip. And then again, this is part of our Allegiancy marketing program, where we're trying to help people understand what we do, explain it to them in a way that's accessible. Maybe you can find me afterwards and tell me if you think either of my videos worked. We know the EDS one was great, but so this is our effort to explain to an audience and sort of a, I guess, an uninitiated audience, what it is that we're doing that's different. Then that's not it. Where did it go?
Radical? Absolutely. Proven technologies, reimagined, integrated, and applied to real estate for the first time. At Allegiancy, we're using technology to reinvent a 200-year-old, $15 trillion business. And increasing profitability, even a little bit, is a big deal.
Our role in the revolution began with radical specialization in an industry stuck in the vertical integration of the 1950s. Focus and technology drive innovation. For a business as entrenched as the commercial real estate industry, that's pretty radical.
The norm in this business is for managers to wait for things to happen. People are reactive rather than proactive, using the business process and tools from the last century.
The status quo means millions of dollars wasted, along with missed opportunities for growth and income.
Allegiancy has a very different approach.
At Allegiancy, we deliver active asset management that's aggressively forward-leaning. Our innovative technology integrates operations using data and code to capture over a century of experience in both real estate and finance and turn that into action.
Value assurance, it's how our team creates extra return on equity for property owners. Higher returns bring us more clients, and our growth of over 400% in the last 18 months tells you that it's working.
Today we have a portfolio that stretches across the United States with hundreds of vendors, thousands of tenants, all integrated through our technology. Value assurance keeps us on top of our continued growth, actually increasing profitability and efficiency as we expand our portfolio of managed properties.
So here we're looking at real-time data. Basically every data point at every property we manage. We can track contractor calls to tenant outfit expenses and lease expirations, basically anything that will increase revenue or decrease expenses.
We're using technology to automate processes and map timelines. The resulting predictive analytics ensure the right person is notified at the right time.
Our proprietary dashboards and data displays give our managers up-to-the-minute information at a glance.
The algorithms and predictive analytics catch hotspots in real time before they become costly. The actions they drive create real value for our clients.
We have internet-enabled meters installed at each of our properties that beam us data on power consumption in real time. We can detect equipment malfunctions, call in local repairs if needed, or even rewrite controlling computer code so that systems are fully optimized.
Allegiancy's real-time data capture and analysis can help cut utility expenses by 20 to 30% on an average property. That could translate into savings of more than $100,000 a year, and those profits drop straight to the bottom line, adding real value to the asset. In today's market, it might be as much as $1,250,000.
Our technology platform captures and codifies decades of experience of senior professionals, allowing fast, effective, and consistent decision-making. We've reduced information lag from 30 to 45 days under the status quo to 24 hours. Rapid decision cycles accelerate learning and magnify our operating advantage.
Allegiancy's predictive analytics allow our asset managers to head off losses before they happen and capitalize on opportunities for profit that our competitors never even see.
We're disrupting this industry in a big way. In commercial real estate, we're the radicals.
All right, that's it for me. Thank you very much. Please.
Anybody have a question? Steve? Okay, I guess. Do you manage hotels as well?
We don't do hotels today, but we're working on an acquisition with a California company that would give us talent both in the multifamily and the hospitality arena. So part of our strategy has acquisitions of other small or other asset managers as part of that. Yes, sir.
One more question. What makes you choose to raise capital in this new way as opposed to a more traditional way for your relatively traditional?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, first of all, probably foolishly optimistic, which would be one of my character flaws. My wife's not here, so we won't talk about the other ones. But we did go down the sort of traditional path. I met with private equity investment funds. We looked at doing a Regulation D offering. And ultimately, what it came down to for us was with the private equity guys, we came to an agreement on the valuation of the company. But what we couldn't get them to do was agree with us that we needed a 10-year horizon to fully capture all of the value that we saw as a potential. And so they were looking at 3- and 5-year timelines when they wanted to exit the investment. And from our perspective, that was too short to maximize the value. And we were concerned that they were going to drive decision-making with that sort of a shorter-term mindset. And so that was a big issue for us on the sort of the traditional private equity side. But I think, we could certainly have done that. We did look at it, and it wasn't a pricing, it was really more like a control and a vision for the future that drove us in this direction.
I have one question. I think a lot of real estate companies or real estate investment, they're going to go Reg A plus for where you guys are.
I think the challenge if you're doing an actual asset, if you're doing a real estate asset, the problem with Regulation A plus is your timeline to get it through the SEC. And so you have to actually somehow have control of your hard asset. You got to own that office building or have it tied up in such a way that you can put your offering together, get it through the SEC, and not spend $1 bajillion in the carry cost. So for actual real estate, it's hard. Yes, sir.
Is the timeline for Reg A plus shorter in your view because there's less paperwork than with the other?
Yes, I think the Regulation A plus process is streamlined. Our interactions with the SEC were very efficient. We had some internal, changes that were made along the way as we kind of stumbled our way through this that slowed things down, but the SEC was not an impediment in our case at all. So I think it is a much more streamlined process. The most streamlined part of it, the SEC was really good at turning around comments, and so we would provide them with the document, and they were very prompt at turning around comments and very responsive to our counsel when questions were asked. So there was a really good working relationship with the SEC.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Any other questions, Steve?